Hello everyone and welcome back to the Little Quilter. Today we are finishing up on the borders, and I have done quite a bit of it, and then I've done all of this line right here and the sort of seashell, conch shell, half hexagon squares, and I was moving on to this white border right here. And I remember how I did the border itself, but what I don't remember is how I did the corners, and even this corner block I can't remember. So what I'm going to do, because everything's attached down now, I can actually unroll this quilt completely, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to unroll it all the way to the top so that I can actually look at it, see what I did so I do it correctly, and then I'm going to roll it back up and finish this part right here. Now, I'm not going to detach it from here. Eventually, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to switch it around so that I can do this border, because this was so much easier to just go across the whole thing and work in one sort of go, rather than rolling it up a bit, rolling it up a bit, quilt, roll it up a bit, all of that. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see how it works out. Alright, I'm going to show you guys what I did, and of course I still have something to do in this border that I'm going to show you guys, but what I did here was, because I don't know if I ever showed it, but I did this sort of overlapping flower type thing, and then for the corner block here I just sort of continued it out this way and left this area open, which again I'm going to be filling that in. Pretty cool to actually unroll it and see it sort of almost all done for the first time. That was really neat, in all honesty. So you can see on this side here, and I'm going to be going back through. So I'm trying to decide, should I just do that now or wait? Let's just keep going. Okay, everybody. So honestly, I was doing this quilt design and I was quilting it, and I got maybe a little bit through and just was like, this looks horrible. I was so unhappy with how it was looking. And I was like, I'm going to take it out, but I was so frustrated. I filmed a whole clip on how I'm going to take it out, how I don't like it. It's not what I wanted it to be, and I'll just do something different. And then it was late, and I was like, okay, I'll just leave it until the morning, and the next time I have a moment, I'll come up and I'll take it out. And as I was doing that, I left, and then I came back the next morning, and I was doing my run, and I run in the treadmill that sits right next to it. And so as I was running, I would kind of glance over and look at it, and the longer that I looked at it, the more that I actually liked it. So I've decided to keep it. And well, first I decided I would do a little bit more. So I buried the stitches of where I had stopped, and I've quilted a little bit more. And so I think I like it now. I think I'm actually okay with it. I think I just needed to do a little bit more. And also I started on a horrible spot. So I started at the corner where it's not perfectly straight and my stitches weren't beautiful. I wasn't warm with my quilting machine. And so, as you quilt longer and longer, I feel like you get better and better at your quilting, and your flow is better. You're sort of moving, your arm is awake and doing what it's supposed to. So I was a little bit cold and starting, and it wasn't quite right. But as I've done more, I do think that it looks nicer. I am having to backstitch quite a bit on this design because I can't, because I have to do the main line and then go back through and do the little heart shapes. It makes it a little bit difficult. So I do think it looks pretty cool though. So I'm going to keep going, and yeah, we're gonna make progress. I'm interested to see how taking this quilt off of the loom goes, but let's keep going here. Okay, so I have finally finished the row of quilting on this border. And so what that means now is I've got to take this quilt off and flip it around so that I can get this border and that border down there. And then this quilt will be done. So I've never taken a quilt off either that isn't completely done. So we'll see how difficult this is to get it back on. I'm hoping it's not going to be that difficult, but again, I've never done it before, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so I got the quilt rolled down. Now, I'm going to be honest, when I repinned this, I didn't measure to my center line. I just put it up there, kind of lined it up, and let it go where it went because I thought it probably won't matter that much. I'm just doing the border. I'm not worried about this going crooked or any of those things, but if you're doing anything extensive, I would definitely recommend doing that because it definitely is not straight. It's crooked. The other thing is that my extra batting material is getting in the way of rolling it up, so it's having a hard time at rolling it up. So I think this is okay for the borders, but if I was having to change this to do a lot of extensive quilting, and especially quilting like into the body of the quilt, I would recommend really going through, probably trimming off any excess batting to help with it rolling up. And I would recommend doing everything like you do when you're putting the quilt first on. So measuring to your center, lining that up on both ways so that you keep your quilt straight. I don't think it's going to be as bad on this top part. It seemed a little bit worse towards the bottom. But again, I only have to do the border, so I think it will work out. Goodness, it's done. It's finally done. The red sampler, the border, this whole border here is done. Let's see how many stitches it took me. Hold on one sec. All right, always enjoy videoing a screen. So if we go over here, let's see, 24 hours, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. 813,412 stitches is what it says. I'm not always sure I believe this guy, but I think I believe that, 24 hours. So that's how long it took me to quilt this quilt. Okay, so now comes the super fun part of getting this thing off of the quilting loom and squaring it up and getting the binding done. And then this quilt will be done. So I'm so excited and so ready to put on the next quilt. Pretty sure it's going to be the Harry Potter quilt. So I've got to do the backing for that one, and then it'll be ready to get on here and get going, and we'll be doing our first pantograph. So hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.